Okay, imagine this. You're behind the wheel of a really nimble sports car.
Hmm.
You're carving through these amazing mountain roads, and it's that moment when winter is just fading out and spring's starting to bloom.
Ah, that specific transition. Love it.
Exactly. That's where we're heading today, metaphorically at least.
Mhm.
We're talking about the Venus Line in Nagano Prefecture.
A classic route.
Totally. And we've pulled together some really interesting stuff, the official PDF on the Venus Line, some AI analysis of the drive itself,
Okay.
plus the details on a specific car, the Abarth 124 Spider, info on the nearby ski spots, and even a close look at Michelin Cross Climate 2 tires.
Quite the range of sources, so what's the plan?
Right, the mission, if you will, is to pull out the absolute best bits, the most useful info for anyone thinking about, actually doing this drive.
Yeah.
Especially in spring, maybe in that Abarth, and dealing with that shift from winter conditions.
Got it. It's that combination, isn't it? The road waking up from winter. And a car that's just built for that kind of fun, engaging drive. It's more than just pretty views. It's about how it feels.
Absolutely. And the Venus Line itself, I mean, the description sounds incredible. This PDF talks about, 76 kilometers of road?
Yeah, winding through the Nagano Highlands.
And high up, too, between 1,400 and 2,000 meters. It's known for views all year, but that early spring part,
Wow. What specifically caught your eye?
the idea of driving it just as it reopens after winter, you might still see snow around, that's not something you get every day.
No, it's not. And that's the real magic. Like the PDF mentions that contrast. Snow melting, first bits of green popping through.
Picture that. Stark white next to fresh green. It's got to be so different from summer flowers or autumn leaves.
Or deep winter snow, yeah. It's a very specific fleeting window.
And experiencing that in an Abarth 124 Spider, our AI source pointed out how perfect that car is: lightweight, rear-wheel drive, turbo engine.
Made for corners.
Exactly. It's about the driving pleasure. But spring does mean, potential issues, right? Snow still on the sides of the road, maybe wet patches.
Precisely. You need to be prepared. Proper winter tires are ideal for ice, obviously, but those all seasons, the cross climate 2s you mentioned.
We'll get into those.
Yeah, they're very relevant here. But you're right, the upsides are huge. Fewer tourists, that quiet atmosphere.
And the air. Super clear after the snow melts, apparently, for those big views.
Oh, definitely. That crisp mountain air.
I can almost feel it. The AI flags some key spots, too. Koregamine, Fujimi, Dara, 1,700 meters up. Views of Fuji in the southern Alps.
Classic viewpoint.
Then Kurumayama Kogen, the midpoint, where you might see the first high-altitude plants.
Yeah.
And Lake Shirakawa for a break by the water.
That AI route breakdown is gold. Starting from Chino City, you apparently get views of Yatsugatake and Kaikoma right away, maybe Fuji too.
Nice start.
Then climbing up near Kurumayamakata, the highest point, that's where the 360-degree panorama hits. Mandasama, Yatsugatake again, the Japan Alps. And the AI mentioned that two-layer scenery. Snow still on the peaks, but green starting down below.
Okay, that sounds stunning. Like, bring your camera, definitely.
Absolutely. Then there's the Yashimagahara Marshland Observatory, a high-altitude marsh. Could be really peaceful in spring. Still water, maybe some snow left. Very tranquil before it all greens up.
Sounds serene.
And the endpoint, near the Utsukushigahara Highlands Open Air Museum. Views of the Northern Alps there. Though, good point you raised from the AI check for temporary closures, especially late April, mid-May.
Always check conditions, yeah.
And just picture that drive, the way the light hits the leftover snow, the sunshine. It creates this unique visual texture.
And doing that with the top down in the Abarth. That clear spring air.
Amplifies everything. Plus, the AI noted fewer motorbikes and cyclists early in the season. Makes for a more relaxed drive, potentially.
Right. Okay, let's talk about the car itself. The Abarth 124 Spider. Such a cool backstory.
It really is. That Abarth Mazda collaboration. You get the Italian flair with Japanese engineering.
Rear-wheel drive, 2 seats, open top. Classic sports car formula. Made from 2016 to 2020.
And crucially, it uses Abarth's own engine, that 1.4L turbo, plus their unique suspension and exhaust tuning. It's not just a rebadged Mazda.
So it has its own character.
Definitely. And relatively rare in Japan, only around 2,700 sold. That points towards, future collectability.
Like other limited run sports cars.
Exactly. They tend to gain value over time because they're special, they're scarce.
Makes sense. And for people who like black cars, the Nero San Marino,
Yeah.
the AI also mentioned limited edition.
Yeah, the first and second anniversary ones, only 100 of each. Special features, extra rarity points. Big deal for collectors.
And that rarity shows up in the used market prices, right? May 2025 data showed an average around 4.17 million yen.
And ticking upwards slightly from the month before shows demand is there.
Prices range from about 3 million up to 5.5 million yen.
Depending on condition, mileage, and if it's one of those limited ones, yeah. And the trade-in values are strong too, often higher than the Mazda Roadster it's based on.
Which says a lot about that Abarth badge and the scarcity.
Absolutely, it's got that specific appeal.
And production ended in 2020. Why was that again?
Difficulty meeting the Euro 6 emissions standards, mostly, and sales volumes probably weren't quite high enough to justify the investment to update it.
The emissions trap. So that end of production is just adding to the scarcity and pushing up used prices.
Pretty much. So if you happen to own one and you're doing this drive, you're not just having fun, you're driving a potential modern classic.
Cool thought. Okay, so accessing the Venus Line in spring? Snow might still be a factor. What about the nearby ski resorts? Do they give us clues?
They can. Kurumayama Kogen Sky Park, for instance, is right off the Venus Line near that high point, Kurumayama-kata.
High elevation, good snow usually.
Yep, great views too. It normally runs until early April, so the road up there likely opens sometime after the ski season finishes and they clear the snow.
That's a good benchmark. What others?
Tatashina Tokyo Resort is near the China City end. More compact, family vibe, right by Lake Tatashina. And Blanche Takayama is about 30 minutes from the Utsukushigahara end. Skier only, good for intermediates, might still have snow in early April.
But the key thing is the Venus Line itself often closes for winter.
Right. Oh, absolutely critical point. Typically mid-November to late April, that specific stretch from Kurumayama-kata to Utsukushigahara is usually completely closed.
And other parts might close at night.
Correct. So rule number 1, check the official road status websites before you even think about going. Non-negotiable.
Got it. And even when it is open in, say, late April or May, spring conditions apply.
Definitely. Morning ice, black ice, the AI suggested waiting until after 9 a.m. to start, which sounds sensible.
And maybe snow walls narrowing the road. Need to drive carefully.
Slower speeds, for sure. And think about the car. The Abarth is light rear-wheel drive. Meaning it can lose traction more easily on slippery inclines or declines if you're not smooth. Gentle on the pedals is key.
And it's low. Watch out for ruts.
Yeah, low ground clearance means you need to be mindful of uneven surfaces or the edges of those snow walls. But the upside is you feel everything. Great feedback, great sense of control if driven appropriately.
Which brings us neatly to tires. The Michelin Cross Climate 2s. Our listener was keen on these.
Right, premium all seasons, M+S rated, and crucially the 3P MSF snowflake symbol.
Meaning 3 Peak Mountain Snowflake, signifies real winter testing.
Exactly, meets a specific standard for snow traction. They came out in Japan in 2022, designed for places with, sudden snow or cold snaps.
So how do they work, that V-shaped pattern?
Yeah, the tread design is key. The V shape helps push water and slush out, and those little slits, the sipes, they create loads of extra edges to bite into snow. That's how it gets the 3P MSF rating.
But it's not a dedicated snow tire.
Correct, it's a compromise. Good for light snow, packed snow, probably fine for the kind of residual stuff you might find on the Venus Line in spring, but not for deep drifts or solid ice sheets.
Okay, makes sense. And wet roads. Spring can be rainy.
They're reportedly excellent in the wet. High silica compound keeps the rubber flexible when it's cold, and that tread evacuates water efficiently. Good for mountain roads.
And dry handling. Still feels sporty in the Abarth.
Apparently, yes. For an all-season tire, they have really good dry performance, good stability in corners, which should suit the Abarth well, maybe even make the rear end feel a bit more planted.
Okay, that sounds like a really good balance for this specific trip. Handles potential light snow, great in rain, still fun on dry roads.
And supposedly decent for noise, comfort, fuel efficiency, wear life. Kind of ticking all the boxes for touring.
But the AI did have warnings, even with good all seasons.
Crucial reminders. Still need to be cautious, especially on slopes, braking hard, or potential ice, like that morning ice risk we talked about.
Still smart to maybe carry chains, and always check conditions.
Absolutely. Chains are good backup, and checking local info is vital. Conditions can change fast in the mountains in spring.
So the conclusion on Cross Climate 2s, good fit for the Abarth on a spring Venus Line drive.
Seems like an ideal fit for what we might call non-aggressive snow driving. They give you that confidence for mixed conditions, good dry and wet grip, basic snow capability. It's a smart choice for enjoying this drive safely and comfortably.
That versatility seems key for spring.
Exactly. Take some of the guesswork out of unpredictable weather without ruining the fun on clearer roads.
Well, this has been super informative. Really feels like we've mapped out this potential spring drive. The amazing scenery, the perfect car like the Abarth, the tire details, the road conditions.
It does sound like a pretty special combination.
That blend of lingering winter and new spring in that environment, in that car.
Yeah.
Sounds truly memorable.
The agility of the Abarth, the beauty of the Venus Line, the drama of the seasonal shift. It's a compelling mix for a driving adventure.
Definitely. So here's a final thought for you to chew on. We've talked about the Abarth becoming rarer and the unique appeal of the Venus Line in spring. Where else in the world might you find a similar kind of magic? That perfect storm of stunning scenery, a great driver's road, and a unique seasonal transition.
That's a great question. Something to ponder.
It is. Lots to think about until our next deep dive.